Hello.
Hello. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Christine.
How are you doing?
I'm good. So, welcome
Good.
everyone to our return 2021 edition of For Crying Out Loud. And we have a very special show for you today. We have psychic medium intuitive healer Maureen Hatchie here to tell us who we really are and what the spirits from the other side are trying to convey to us despite our inability to listen.
Right.
But before we get started, I just want to say that we are recording, but we're recording from the unceded territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh people, and we are honored to have the privilege to work and play on their land. So thank you.
Cool. So now the last time that we were on this crazy thing
Yeah.
was 2020, and it's like just before Christmas. So how were your holidays and all that sort of stuff? Because we've not been on for like 3 weeks, I think, right?
I didn't really have any, I don't think I really had any holidays. I was working because I have a job. I work in harm reduction. And I did have the opportunity to watch some shows on Amazon Prime and Netflix. I did a lot of kind of binging and reading, and I'm still in school, so I've been reading books and doing those things.
So what about the Netflix stuff? What's good on there that I
I
should be
watched
watching?
I watched The Bureau on not Netflix, Amazon Prime, and it's a
Uh,
French spy show, and there are a
I just
lot of
saw Yeah, I just saw a an ad for that on my iPad as I was, playing a word game, and all I could think of was guy, 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 guy. Oh, woman kissing a guy, 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 guy. It's just like I'm kind of like I'm sure it's good, but that whole thing can just fuck off for me for a while. You
oh,
know, like
okay,
like too many. It's too guy for me.
many
Like
guys,
lot of guys, right?
too many French guys.
Too many too many French
I
guys.
don't know.
There should only be a quota of one French guy.
There's many, many French guys. But there's another French series that, well, it is a French guy once again, but it is a French black man, and he's very entertaining. And that's a show called, what is it called? Le Pain. And
Le
it's very good.
pain?
Le
Does that mean
Pain.
like the bread, or is
No,
that
no. More like Lupin, I think, like Lupin.
welcome to
Lupin.
welcome to the
And
bread?
it's very good. And it's on Netflix. So,
Okay,
what about
le
you? What
pain,
did you watch?
like okay, so le pain is like bunny, right? Which brings us around to Beatrix Potter again. We're
Is
talking
Le
about
Pen like Bunny?
le
Oh,
pain is bunny, isn't it? Isn't that doesn't it mean rabbit?
mm.
Okay, I'm googling it right now. Le pain,
Google it now.
hang on. Okay, here we go.
Mm.
And in the meantime, yes, my Christmas was uh, okay. Spent it by myself. I didn't have my kid with their boyfriend here. It was just me. It was very lovely and relaxing.
Hmm.
So I'm googling lapin, but okay, it means rabbit.
Okay.
Lapin, lapin French. So
What about
LAPI.
Lupin?
I
I
think that's
think
wolf.
Lupin just means Lupin.
Okay, I
I
think
just want to say I make big apologies to all of French Canada and all French speakers. I really played hooky a lot with my French class, and it's really coming up.
lupin. Lupin is pine. Anyway, whatever. It's either rabbit or pine. How about the pine rabbit hanging from the rear view mirror on your car? The fresh scented pine rabbit. Yeah, no, I'm happy to be back. I'm really, really. I watched the other day the complete inauguration of
Right.
Joe Biden. Watched that and am very, very happy. I just feel kind of like, oh, okay, let's move forward.
Right. I felt that, but I also I had big concerns about Lady Gaga's outfit. I mean, I realized,
Why?
well, because it looked very, Third Reich. And I mean, the dove to me, the dove to me did not look like a dove. It was a giant fucking dove. It looked like an eagle. So it was like a gold eagle and a gold microphone and the braids in the hair and the really high, like so military. And I was like, where's the lederhosen? Like it just, people said, oh no, it was an homage to Hunger Games.
Under the skirt with the lederhosen.
I know. I was like, why are we, no, this aesthetic? No. Or maybe
Somebody,
there's still a commentary going out to her more subversive fans who are saying, don't be fooled. Even though Joe Biden is here, it's still, an authoritarian regime. And I'm here to prove it with my outfit. I don't know.
right?
I love Lady
Personally,
Gaga.
personally, I loved it, but I just thought, of course, she's wearing that massive red. You just can't miss her, right? Which is,
Right.
not great for if they're snipers. But I also, somebody was saying, well, the skirt was basically a natural COVID distancer because you couldn't get close to
Oh.
her because of the
Oh.
bulk of the dress, so no one could come right up.
Oh.
But
Actually, those skirts from days gone by, the big hoopy skirts, they could have been a form of kind of birth control before their time.
well, in my fantasy, there's someone under the hoop skirt.
Oh, okay.
So it's just like
Still a few
my
people
secret
there.
lover. All right, we got a great show. Let's get it started. I'll let you do the intros because you
I wrote it
you're
down.
better. You wrote it down and better than me, but yeah, let's start with Maureen Hashi.
Yes. I'm just really excited that Maureen has made time to join us today.
Yeah.
Maureen Hatchie is based in Edmonton, Alberta, but we're trying to rescue her from that location. And she has been a psychic medium, intuitive healer for the last 30 years, which is her entire adult life. And we are absolutely thrilled to benefit from her presence on our show.
Thank you
Welcome.
so much for having me, ladies.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
Maureen, how were your holidays?
It was very quiet, lovely, but quiet. I mean, what are you going to do in isolation?
Right.
So is Edmonton in lockdown?
Yeah, we were in lockdown. And, neighbors were tattling on neighbors and fines. So many fines were handed out because if your license plate doesn't match your driveway, then you get the police come and so
Oh my
it's been interesting.
Who rolled that out? Sounds like Putin. I mean, really?
Yeah, it's been a little bit much.
Yeah. And Edmonton winter feels like lockdown anyway.
Oh,
goodness.
goodness.
My hometown.
I'm banging to get out. They don't call it Deadmonton for a reason,
Oh.
I mean, I can't say that. Edmonton has actually been very good to me, very supportive in many, many ways. But sometimes your season is done.
Right.
Dear Edmonton, please let me go now.
And what part of Edmonton do you live in?
I live in the university area.
Oh, South Side.
Yeah, so just off of White Ave.
Right. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Where are you jonesing on going to, Maureen? Like, if you could choose anywhere to live in let's say Canada, where would you want to go?
I think definitely the West Coast, BC, for a number of reasons. I don't want to do snow anymore. I don't mind the rain. I don't want to do a lot of cold winters. I'm so over it. Especially January, February. It's such long, cold months.
Mm-hmm.
Driving sucks. Everyone's dark and depressed. Everything looks terrible. So yeah, BC somewhere.
Nice. Well, so Maureen, now let me ask you. So I think we're all kind of feeling, thank God 2020 is over, right? Even though, I think that I don't think it changes at midnight, on December
No.
31st.
No.
But so are you the kind of like in your sort of intuitive world, are you getting kind of a feeling about 2021? And how does that look to you?
Mhm. It's very interesting because what my guides are saying to me is the shift had already started prior to Christmas. And so one day on a walk, I was feeling like, okay, this is just, I'm done with this. And my guides literally said, it's already shifting on the planet. At the beginning of COVID, there was so much animosity amongst humanity. There was strife and fighting and, fear. And I couldn't believe the amount of conflict that people were feeding into instead of standing back and recognizing that this isn't my energy. I don't have to respond this way. I can still be love and light. But everyone was just chaotic, and I think it spoke to the energy permeating from the United States, to be honest. There was a lot of fear. It's been tremendous there. But it is on the upswing. I do believe that we're nearing the cusp of everything. We're almost out of the woods.
And what will the new woods look like?
It's very interesting because I'm going to say in June 2019, I had this crazy vision. And it was God Earth coming to an end, and New Earth was coming to light, and all this stuff. It was so crazy. And I hadn't thought about it. And I woke up one day to where the fires were in I think New Zealand or Australia, something crazy. And an image flashed in my mind reminding me of the transition that we're going into with monetary changes and unity. And I think that there is a sense of hope on the planet with the new leadership coming in, which we needed. We needed to kind of fall out of the old patterns and really realize that change is needed. And it was a wake-up call for humanity, really, to smarten up and get wise.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I feel that. I think we're all kind of, well, we're hoping for it. Although I remember, December 31st, 2019, everyone's just like, fuck you, 2019, fucking, woo, 2020 is just like, whoa.
What were we thinking? But I mean, when we were in an Obama phase of just like, oh, the world's getting so much better, and then Trump was elected, and it was like bringing out all the truth of people's sentiments, and it was like an animal had brought everything out from the brush, right? Like that's what's been hiding in there. That's the truth of all of us, and yeah,
the shadow self of everyone sort of, blew up. And it was mind-blowing at the energy and the chaos that ensued, like so much hate crimes and all of it. Like I just sat there going, what is happening? And there was a lot of people posting. In the beginning, I was, posting affirmation on Instagram every day and trying to encourage people. Then I stopped and I sat back and just wanted to hold space and energy because it was overwhelming, out of control, and crazy that some think that one man could do that,
Right.
But I think if you're that impressionable, that you need to stop and find your own identity of who you really need to be in this world. What are you bringing forward? Does it serve you? Is it in your highest interest? All these things that people really need to do some self checkups with.
Right. But I think that Trump, the virus of Trump, sort of illuminated the injustice that it still, had been following us and never has been dealt with. So there's been a great push towards awareness around colonization and the the racism that we've just become quite comfortable with, and it had to be exhumed and examined and discarded for once and for all.
For sure. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
You know, and growing up, my mom was married to an African American. And so I experienced a lot of firsthand racism at church. Like, it was insane, the amount. And so when all of this started, it really was a trigger for me, because I felt so helpless that, you know, you can't say anything because people will shut you down like instantly, but you want to help, you want to do something. And so what do? Like, you
Listen.
say a prayer, you listen, and you do better.
Yep. Yeah.
Right. You know what? I love all that. My only hope is that, you know, because I remember, you know, when JFK was shot, not that I was there sitting next to him or anything, but when all that happened and there was the Martin Luther King movement and things, you know, that's what I grew up in, right? And I was just so shocked and dismayed that we're going through that again, right? And so I just hope that in 30 years, this doesn't happen again, you know, that there's some sort of learning curve, you know,
Right.
Societal learning curve in this. And I think probably the only way that that's going to happen is if we, you know, don't fall asleep on the watch.
And we give up power. We understand that there's like great imbalances, and that we have to strive for a just society, not the society that, you know, as white people makes us, you know, feel all good about ourselves. Like, it's like we have to give up jobs and position and power and really examine all that stuff.
Right.
For sure.
Except for me, because I need to work right now.
Right. Well, right.
I'm not giving up anything right now because I got nothing.
But there's it's a mindset of scarcity too. Like, there is, we can open things up, and yeah, we can create a better world.
And, you know, and
Sure.
what I'm getting from that is, like, when I think about, let's say, money, right? When I think, oh my God, I have no money, and then I think, well, you know, maybe I shouldn't, you know, desire money, but, you know, I got to pay the rent and all that sort of stuff. And then I think, wait a minute, there's enough money in the world. You know, there's enough money in the world for everyone to be comfortable with. It's just that it's held by these, you know, so.
Yeah.
Everyone should have money, and I shouldn't feel bad about thinking about that I should have money. Like, I'm not talking, you know, that I want to have my own private jet, because I don't think that would make me happier, you know. But
You
just
know,
get safe and comfortable and not afraid. That's the money that I want.
Yeah.
we were destined to live abundant, prosperous lives. We get in this mindset that scarcity and lack have to be our experience because money is bad and evil. Money and is not bad and evil. It is what you intend to do with it. It's how you get to having the money. It's how you respect it. It's how you, if you worship money, you know, it's always going to elude you a little bit. You know, usually the universe gives you exactly what you need and a little bit more to stop you from falling into the pits of spending it unwisely, you know. And if you have this propensity to not respect the funds that you have, you'll always live in a little bit of lack.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's changing our wording in our relationships to money to say, I do deserve this, you know, and it comes down to our self-worth of accepting and wanting more, believing that we're worthy of it and that it's okay to have more.
Right. Yeah. Well, and speaking of more, why don't we add another square here? Jen?
Well, I just want to give Maureen an opportunity to express any of either hits of the energy she's getting from us, because we're in the energy field. We've been, so just before we go on with Eddie, we'll allow some space. We'll take some space for ourselves, Christine.
Okay.
It's very interesting. So I don't know, you're probably both writers, but who's the writer and supposed to be writing and is ignoring the nudges to write? Okay. I think, Christine, you're doing a lot of ignoring lately. You're really too much in your head. You need to come out of your head and sit down and start writing, because there's something in you that needs to come out. Spirit's really guiding you to write something. And once you start being in the creative flow, you're actually going to release a lot of energy on the backside for you.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, that's for me too. I know.
But Maureen, my fridge needs to be cleaned. So, you know, I need to. That's the big
Well,
procrastination.
you know,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
You know, it was really interesting for the first time in my life, because I've got several completed manuscripts, and I'm always writing and working on something. And so I have this big book that I've been working on for a while and procrastinating and whatever. Yesterday was the first time I ignored my dishes and wrote literally all day till 5 o'clock. I just dove into it and got into it, and it felt so good to, you know, pound out a good 23 pages,
Wow.
and then go to bed and still have it rolling in my mind. It's been a
Right.
really long time, but the dishes just sat there. So your fridge is okay.
Thank you. Fuck you, pickles.
Right.
Take the pickles, put them beside you, and then write.
Got it. All right. So is there anything else that you'd like to
Jen,
impart?
there's something to do with a tree. Is there something to do with a tree around you?
Got a lot of trees.
Do you need to go into the woods? Do you have a connection to nature?
I tend to like to live with a lot of trees.
Yeah,
Our
there's a
house
tree
has-
specifically that seems to be calling your attention. Like,
Oh,
I know that
Oh.
sounds crazy, but it's really calling for your attention. Either it needs to help ground and heal you, or give you some sort of stability and balance, or you need to help heal it, or both.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll take that. It's a tree that's not in my yard. It's a tree that I thought I saw a person in.
Okay, go to the tree. Honestly, it sounds kooky. Go to the tree and spend some time with it. Touch the tree, take a leaf home, ask the tree first if you can have a leaf, and take it home with you, and guaranteed you're going to have a vision. It needs to connect to you.
Where's the tree, Jen? Not Highway 1 on the median or anything.
It's just across the alley. I thought I saw
good.
I saw shapes and people in it, and especially after a friend's passing, I thought she was in that tree, and she might be coming through that tree.
100%. You know, spirits use all sorts of inanimate objects to get our attention, because she had a connection to nature, and that's how she connects to you as well. That would be a great way for her to come through to you. And so the first person usually is correct. And because you are a medium and you have medium tendencies, even if you don't do mediumship readings, it's still a big part of your life.
I used to read Greek coffee grounds and palms
Love that.
just for fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's still a big part of you, you know, and so nurturing that side of you a little bit more is necessary.
That's interesting. That's great.
Okay, great.
That's really great. Yeah. Ask the tree for a leaf.
I will.
Because I think it's one of those.
We're we have Eddie Van Wyck waiting in the wings, and Eddie is going to come on, and Maureen will talk to Eddie about what she sees. Now, Eddie, I need to introduce you though properly. Eddie Van Wyck is you're a recent graduate of SFU, right?
Yeah, 2017.
Okay, but Eddie is an actor, creator, writer, clown extraordinaire. I have seen her in action, a dancer, choreographer. She's a multi-hyphenate. Yeah, I've seen Eddie perform, and she's wonderful. So give it up for Eddie Van Wyck.
Oh.
God goes
Yeah,
wild.
Woo. Hi, Eddie.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. That's Maureen over here.
Marine!
Hi, Eddie. Pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm so nervous.
Oh,
Don't be
no.
nervous. Have you ever had a reading before?
I think I've had a bunch, but yeah, I've had a
Okay,
bunch.
so I do things a little bit differently. I just listen to your guides and angels and the intuitive impressions that come on. Sometimes dead people also come through, and we just go from there. So I'm a very feeling person, so I also I feel you. There's a couple things coming through specifically with your health, and it could be yours or someone else's on the other side. So what happens is they merge through very closely to you. Have you lost a grandmother?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. She's really merging through as we're talking. She feels like a very pillar of your family, very pertinent to your life, very important person. But also, is there something wrong with either your throat or a thyroid, or did someone have throat cancer or something with their throat?
My throat's been having a little bit of a thing.
Okay, so that speaks to me about speaking your truth. And so you might be a little bit of a stuffer sometimes, and then, erupt with having enough. So your guides and angels are encouraging you to find your voice, to take this opportunity to speak your truth with love and light. And there is justice, anger, like you're allowed to have a voice, you're allowed to have emotions, and your opinion matters. So it is time for you to speak your truth. There is also something with your stomach. So either you got cramps or some sort of intestinal stuff, or
My stomach's just being kind of talkative, and I can't tell why.
yeah. Like cranky? Is it cranky?
No, it just is a little bit. It's more noisy than usual. It's not actually
Yeah.
ever like, "Wah, wah," but these days it's like, "Wah, wah."
I think you're about to purge. You're purging some energy, you're shifting. There's a lot of life changes around you happening. But also you're resistant to change. You actually have to have a little bit of courage. I think that you're being pressed to move in either a new house or a new direction, and you're resisting. So everything that you've been holding on to is going to come out, and the body has a way of purging, aka diarrhea. You're welcome. To get rid of this, to flush the things that no longer serve you, that you're holding on to so intensely. Does that make sense?
Yep, in a way. Yep.
Yeah.
I
And
purged this morning.
did you?
TMI. Sorry.
Sometimes, when I'm going to work with people or meet with people, a wave of energy comes in and sort of clears the path, because I do bring change to people. So I can't help but feel, Eddie, that you are in the midst of a transition.
You're very right.
And you're afraid. There's so much fear surrounding it, and you've got to stop worrying about what people think or how they're going to feel about it. You have to say, who gives a fuck, and just do it, because it's about you and your happiness. You matter, and it doesn't matter if they're on board or not on board. Either they catch up or they don't. If they love you enough, they're going to get on board with whatever it is you're going to do.
I'm crying already.
Yeah. And a lot of that is being brave. And this is why your throat is so sore, is because you've been holding on to it, and then it creates resentments and frustrations and self-doubt. And the more you embrace who you truly are and who you want to be in the direction that life is calling you, your true journey, all of this is going to fall away from you, and you can still be honest and have integrity and be kind, even in the face of adversity, when people aren't nice to you, when you're not doing what they want you to do. So it's really about releasing the mask that we wear for other people, our shadow self, and just going, okay, I'm present. I'm I don't have all the answers, but I'm going to start moving forward.
Mm.
Oh, Eddie. I wish Eddie
Sounds
was
like it's
here. We could give her a hug.
I'm sending you so much love and a big, big hug.
Thank you. Mhm.
Yeah. Zoom does not
Yeah.
suffice. I just, yeah.
It,
Oh,
it's kind of strange because I'm very aware of what you're saying, and it started last year. I I mean, since COVID started, I've been on like an exponential growth like this, and it was just months and months. And I'm like, whoa, how am I still standing? But I've done so much. I'm growing so much, and everything that happened last year, like George Floyd, COVID, all of that stuff,
Yeah.
And then this year, it's like a little quieter, but it's still every day is like this. And I know I do, I have a spiritual practice every day. So I know that I'm in the midst of cocoon, caterpillar, butterfly, cocoon, like, ooh, it's like this kind of zone. And yeah, I'm every day I try and release a lot of the fear around it because it really is about being true.
Yeah. And being okay to not be okay too, and we have to remember that in the quiet moments when it feels like spirit isn't with us, or we're not growing, or things are at a standstill, that's our time to rest and have a reprieve, but also really make sure that we're in the right path, that the things that we've chosen are in alignment with us. It gives you a chance to tweak and rethink things and to let them go if you need to let them go.
Hmm.
And especially, with George Floyd, I have to say that struck such a nerve. I wept because I'm going to get emotional again, because when I watched it, and I was so upset that people kept posting the video, because I kept seeing, as a spiritual in tune person, I could see his soul leaving. And it just shook me up that humanity has lost their heart and compassion just for one another, just to love one another, and that just, it did me in for a long time.
Big yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'll, it's like one of those moments where you're like, I'm never going to be the same. I'm never going to be the same. Like it's lots of those moments have happened in my life where I've been like, oh, this is a whole new thing. I'm something have shifted so deeply that I'll never be the same as before. Like there's no more yesterday really. It's only And so that was one of the biggest moments of my entire life. It's so much change. So much.
Yeah.
I was for months.
Yeah, like that really broke me. And it made me pause and question, what am I doing? How am I making, like, what is the point of life if this is what we've come to? Like, it really was devastating for me, because I live in this world where I want people to flourish and feel good and, explore their world and their spiritual journey and learn love, to feel love on such a profound level. And then we've got all this other stuff happening. And I was like, so what's the point? Why? And so I wallowed in the mud for a long time, and it took me months to pull myself out, even though I know better, even though that I know the spiritual truth of, that just because they do that doesn't mean I do that. And I can still shine my light where I am. And speaking of that, it was very interesting to me because around the planet, there was people stationed to bring down anyone shining. I felt so many spiritual zingers from a lot of different directions. How did you feel?
Well, I did feel like everyone wanted my attention all of a sudden. I did feel like I wasn't there was not enough space to just be myself, as if my energy was being spread. I lived in a house with 6 other people, and it was just getting to the point where I was like, how come they don't understand that I need to just have my own self? Why is everybody expecting me to be like a den mother in this house? And do they recognize that I'm maybe not doing so okay? So I felt kind of like I was being spread and disrespected in terms of how much capacity I had in my energy. I'm very generous. I think
For
all
sure.
artists really are quite generous. We kind of have
Yes.
to learn to not be so generous. And so yeah, so I just felt a little spread.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And you know, so you're not just creative, you are a very soulful creature. It is your innate ability to also be in tune because you're so empathic, you're very feeling. So it's very easy for you to feel the energy from other people as well. And people feed off you, you know. And so when you don't have enough energy, even for yourself, and then people become agitated with you because you're not performing or you're not giving to their demands. And so again, your truth, your throat will clear up, having a voice. Now, did you move from there?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Good. Yeah.
They moved from there.
Perfect.
Good.
I noticed something that people who I guess were resistant to taking on the immensity of the energy that came out of that and the immensity of the cultural shift that we're still in, that we will be in. I mean, there's a paradigm shift, and there's huge momentum and there's huge energy around it. And I noticed that people that were not picking up on that were using it as a career track. And
Mm,
I just thought it was hilarious. I was kind of like, this is so much more than a thing that can be used to leverage your ambitions. Like,
I know. I agree. Yep.
but I found it remarkable.
Can you
Yeah.
elaborate on that, Jen?
Pardon?
Can you elaborate on that? Like how
Well,
seeing people leveraging?
well,
Networks jumping on the bandwagon to include, which is wonderful, but they were doing something nefarious with it. They were profiting from brokenness, is what it felt like.
profiting from brokenness.
Opportunists, you know.
But also the whole idea of allyship was being appropriated and by white people, you know, to look like there was like allyship to me is a great idea, but it's something that I don't know. I just want to distance myself from for a while because
Mhm.
it's so fucked, pardon me. Like it can be so misused and used for leverage and used for grants and like I don't know, like I can't even, you know, like it's important to stand up, but once it moves from a place of dialogue or even listening or speaking to into a machine of creation, you know, like
Mhm.
I don't know. I think that I saw some energy happening there that around me where people were using proximities for actual career leverage.
Mhm.
And I found it pretty aversive.
I think that was one of the reasons why I stepped back from my social media platform and stopped doing any sort of like posting because I didn't want it to be about promotion of self at all. My
Yeah.
intention was to only uplift and encourage people during these dark times. And, you know, it was interesting because I did feel energy attacks from people. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, you know what? I'm just going to shut it down. I'm just going to be quiet because I feel like that's what I need to do right now. And I got a few messages from people saying, why am I not saying this or that? You know, use this hashtag, don't use this hashtag. And I was like, you know what? Stop, you do you, and I'll do me, because it's just too much.
I think that I learned a lot about the social media in that it's Manichaean. It creates villains and heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's in an instant. So there's no gray area. It's a heroic statement or a villainous statement. And I believe that it's done a lot to give like gasoline to the motor of movements, but that we need to step back and understand that social media itself has its own operation system that does not necessarily benefit humanity. Like we
Exactly.
don't benefit from right now from having such a divide between heroes and villains. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, even now I'm affected. Like I don't really want to know what QAnon are thinking, but it would befit me to know. Like it would be,
Mhm.
as a human, why don't I want to know? Why can't I sit with that and find out what
Well,
someone?
because sometimes the energy of what they're putting out may not be in your best interest. So, you know, I believe that we as light beings need to also be aware of the darkness and educate ourselves with what is going on without being inundated by it or perpetuating the same thing. But there's such a fine line with learning it and living it because the energy is so intense. So if you're not okay energetically, I strongly suggest that you don't investigate anything. And if your guides are pushing you away from something or preventing you from reading about it or whatever, or any resistance, you have to respect that because that means that it's not for you to know at this time.
Right. So we'd have a guest
So,
that just,
so hang on. So Eddie had, before we bring on our next guest, Eddie had something to say. What's up?
okay,
Eddie?
Oh, I just want to ask Marine if she has anything more to say.
right.
Finish me off.
Your grandmother is a beautiful energy and presence in your life. Do you talk to her?
Yeah, I have a scarf that I hang over my door, and then it's her scarf that she used to wear, and I just go and put my face in it.
Yeah, she's so much in your presence. Anytime that you're feeling sad or lonely, she's right there with you. Did she do something with bread? I'm getting bread specifically.
Why are you making me cry? She was a massive baker, and she used to bake all the time. And she was the type of person when she was baking bread, she's just pouring everything in, no measuring cup. She's just
Yeah, she's showing me that. She's showing bread, and it really was feeding your soul because there was so much love. You know, they talk about soul food, and her food was soul. She was giving you so much love because you meant so much to her. You meant so much to her. And she's still with you. You can have a cup of tea with her anytime.
feels really nice for that for that to be validated because you know when you're like talking to your dead grandmother and you're doing weird things like you'll like do like a I'm gonna have tea with my grandmother even though she's dead or like I'm gonna put my face in the scarf or when I move into the house I'm gonna do a little ritual so that she knows that she's welcome. All these things. Sometimes you feel a little bit like
I've lost my mind. But she's also talking about lemons.
Lemon?
Does she like lemon in her tea?
God, you're amazing. I do lemon rituals because we used to eat lemons. She grew citrus in a desert. So she had these big lemon trees, big orange trees, and we used to, as kids, like 7-year-olds, go get lemons and eat them just like a lemon by itself. So I eat lemons.
Is she from South Africa? Where is she from?
Oh my God, you're amazing. You're so good. I'm from Namibia, so my grandmother is Namibian. So Southern Africa, yeah.
Okay. That's what she was telling me. So, yeah.
That's so wonderful.
Hey, what about my grandfather quickly? Is he around? No.
Oh, your grandmother is like, oh, he's around.
Okay.
She's
okay,
like,
okay.
you know, overshadowing him. He's there, but he's got nothing to say. He's just checking it out because he probably, you know, believed in it, but didn't support it, you know, so he's like, you know.
That's cool. I had an aunt just pass away. Is she up there already?
She's still transitioning. She's still making her through the light body and getting her groove on.
Okay.
Yeah, she's making her way. She is working through the process.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I feel
You're
like
very welcome.
I feel like maybe you guys should just keep going.
Well, Jennifer, no, we invited you.
I'm scared.
Okay,
Don't be
but
scared.
okay. So I'd like to introduce our guest who actually was the first to volunteer for this episode. And her name is Jennifer McLeish Lewis. And Jennifer is like a very accomplished dancer, a choreographer. You're a yoga instructor, but you do a lot of other things with movement, right? Reiki as well, and massage.
Yeah, mostly I don't do I would love to study Reiki. I haven't studied it, but yeah, I do body
Okay.
work. Yes.
Body work.
Body
Okay,
work
sorry.
and,
Well, you're a natural healer.
no.
Like you have the healing ability within your hands. It is a part of your calling. You do not need a piece of paper to say you're a healer because it's within you. So if you've ever doubted yourself, stop. There's also lots of sadness, profound sadness within your soul right now. So is this yours or someone else's?
Maybe mine.
Yeah. You're really struggling emotionally right now. And so that's really why movement is good for you, because it releases the blocked energy. You're really good at doing that, but you're not facing why you're sad. And you might not know exactly all the reason why you're sad.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting you use the word sad. It's so yeah, potent and just simple.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot. It's almost the feeling of rejection. So either of self or from another person, or perceived rejection. Like there's just this sadness. And your guides and angels are telling you that you're so loved, you're so needed in the world, you bring so much to so many people, but you also need to do some self-care. You need to pull them off you. When you're doing body work and doing such intense work and healing for people, you forget sometimes to pull it back off you, because you wear it and then you get so bogged down because you're so empathic and you're very caring and you're carrying everything for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a little girl? Do you have a daughter?
No.
Did you ever have a miscarriage?
My sister's pregnant.
Okay, she's probably going to have a girl.
I knew it!
She's probably going to have a girl. And it feels very connected to you. Like, do you do energy work for the baby?
I haven't yet, but I've been thinking a lot about it, about her,
Yeah.
about the baby.
Yeah. You can do it distance, and the baby is very connected to you. Are you dreaming about the baby?
Not yet, but I'm daydreaming about the baby.
Yes. That's what I feel like. I feel like this strong connection between you and your sister and the baby. And it's like the three witches of Eastwick,
That's really fun. I'm not scared anymore.
No.
Yeah, that's so sweet. She thinks it's going to be a boy and her partner wants it to be a boy, but I just have this feeling like it's a girl.
The energy I'm getting is a girl. I mean, I can be wrong sometimes because I am human. Go figure. But I'm getting girl energy from the baby.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So either it was a girl or it can be feminine. Like it feels like very much like a girl.
Nice.
Yeah. Is she about 3-4 months?
Yeah, about 3 now. You're right.
Yeah. Very soon they'll find out. But I think the baby is going to be shy, so they might not see it at first. But yeah.
And I feel like this baby will be a blessing for our family.
For sure. It's going to bring a lot of people together. There's waves of nausea coming over you. Do you have issues with your mom? Is there like a little breakdown with your mom?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It really weighs heavy. Does she struggle with depression? Because there's something here with your mom.
She struggles with anxiety, and I do too. Okay. And so does my sister.
I think you guys all feed off each other, and so some of this that you're feeling is not yours. You have to practice more with separating yourself from other people's energy because you're so empathic. It's like drawn to you and you can't tell the division of where you are and where other people are, especially your family, especially your family. Are you in a relationship?
No.
No. Did you have a breakup recently within the last year or two?
Yeah.
Because there's some residual energy with your partner that's sticking around, you know? So whether you're thinking of, you know, it'd be easier just to go back, never go back. You got to move forward. Love will find you. But you got to work through some stuff. All this is like so heavy, so dense. So it's time to clear your house, clear your energy, go outside, unzip your aura, pull it off you, and grow a new one. Have a shower, do a little bit of a ritual for yourself to raise your vibrations and step into your power again. The other thing you can do when you feel like all of a sudden the heaviness that comes over your head, that kind of is like heat, that to me feels like your mom, and you can send it back with light and love, never to return, because it's not yours to fix. And you can still love your mom and have a good relationship without carrying everything, without fixing it all. And because you're such a fixer and a healer, you want to fix everything for everyone, but it's not your role.
I do have a hyper sense of responsibility.
Yeah. So you need to stop it. You need to stop and let go and release it. I feel like your aura is just like bogged down so much with everything else. Like there's lots of residual energy. So you need to like get rid of that. And the only way you can get rid of it at this point is take it outside, unzip, and grow a new one.
That sounds fun. It's almost like a snake or like
It
a
is.
lizard, right?
Yeah.
You just come out of the thing.
So
For sure.
how do I do that? Like in a like a miming physical kind of way, or are there other tools? Like should I sage, or should I clean my house, or should
You
I?
definitely need to clean your house, make sure there's a window open so you don't have any demons bouncing off the wall, so to speak. But go outside. I am a very physical person. I like to do things. So I unzip from my head down physically. I don't care what people think. You know, my neighbors must think I'm crazy. And I pull it off like a suit, and I pull it off me and I throw it away. I also do this when I've had conflict or extreme trauma with people, that I just leave my aura for them to feed off of. You know, I unzip, pull it off, and grow a new one. It is that simple. When I'm going to be around them, I pull on a little string underneath my chin to pull in my aura, so I'm not flying everything all out here and get attacks all the time. You can still shine bright and still protect yourself without, you know, flying yourself too thin. So I feel like you really need to be mindful of that.
Thank you.
But definitely clean out your house. Do you work from home too? Clean it out. Like charge your crystals, raise your vibrations. Like I can just feel all the pulls on you, like so much, you know, and put them in love bubbles, send them back to where they came from. And you can even say to the energy, this is not mine to fix. I love you, but go away.
Do you have any specific questions for Maureen, Jen?
Will I find a partner living where I am?
No. My first response was real loud, no.
Wow.
No. It feels like many of us are in transition and we're being called to other places. I feel like your time here might be coming to an end. You might be noticing that relationships are transitioning as well. Doors are closing, clients are getting fewer, because it might be time for you to go. The first place that pops into your mind is correct. So you might need to think about relocating or, you know, a new business elsewhere.
Thank you. That's clear.
Eddie, I'm sensing
What's
something
going on?
visceral from you. Eddie's jumping out of her aura. What's that?
So fun. It's so intense. You're so direct, Maureen. And it's so clear. I just love it. I love it.
Thank you. You know, when I was a young medium, I had a hard time with the messages that were coming through because my guides are very direct. Like they say it like it is. And I was censoring. And they kind of reprimanded me and said, you know, we're not giving you these gifts to censor. Like, say what we say. We'll never say anything that's derogatory or that will harm people. But people need to hear direct things sometimes because they ignore us. So pay attention. So I was like, okay. And so the more I listen, the stronger they are.
So, Maureen, does everybody have angels or an angel or angels around them?
For sure. For sure.
Okay. And how do you connect with them? And how do you know? What are the kinds of things that may, you know, where you go, oh, maybe that was an angel?
Well, there's a couple things. You can ask your guides and angels for a sign. And so they can give you a sign. Sometimes because you're trying so hard, you can block the very experience that you want to have by forcing a situation. And ask them, you know, what's your name? Sometimes it's a specific archangel, like Archangel Michael or Gabriel. Sometimes it's Mary, or I had a doctor. I had a near-death experience. I was hit by a drunk driver. And when my heart stopped, a Dr. Ray came. And he definitely was a guardian angel for me. He talked me through the process of making the decision to stay on this earth plane. Which now I'm like, yo, Dr. Ray, what's up? What is happening? But the odd thing is that he looks so much like Lionel Richie.
I love that.
Yeah, me too. And he was just like this beautiful being, and he helped me decide. And, you know, as I was getting further and further away from my body, he said, you know, you're a lucky little girl. You can choose whether you stay or whether you go. And I was 16 at the time. And then as I looked down, I started laughing, which was an odd response. I was laughing because there was so much joy and just this profound love. I was like, hi, you know, and I was like, oh my God, I think I'm going to die. I don't want to die. And then boom, my body slammed back down. So it was clear to me that Dr. Ray was one of my guides. And so I've worked with Archangel Michael, Gabriel. Oh, sorry.
Archangel dog. But I've had experiences where, I mean, people jump out of cabs, they get on the bus, they come right at you. Maybe that's just me. I mean, I've had lots of weird experiences where people just come right out of the bush and talk to you, and it's bizarre.
I can show you pictures, and I've had people step into me to show their loved one that they're with me because they've asked for signs. And I had this one who was a Kundalini yoga teacher who popped in to show her mom, which she should have asked my permission first, which she didn't. But, you know, she showed her mom, and that was what her mom needed. I was safe, but, you know, it was very interesting.
I think that we play with spirit as actors too. I'm just sharing that with Eddie. I mean, often, you know, spirit will find us through a role. And I mean, many times I've had that experience. And that's a great opportunity, you know, to take those lessons, the lessons of that particular spirit, you know, and put it in a character, but also then to learn it for oneself. You know?
Yeah, I've
For
only
sure.
recently started experiencing that. But yeah, like in the moment when it's happening, I've been experiencing that. But you know, as I look back, I can see how all of them have influenced me. But the spirit part is only recently started to drop in a little bit. And it's really cool.
I'm
The more
getting a hit.
comfortable you with it.
It's 3 o'clock.
I'm getting a hit off of Jen McLeish. I think you're drinking tea that has like a licorice flavor to it.
Nope, you're incorrect.
Oh, there you go.
It's Earl Grey with soy milk.
Okay. So now because we're nearing our end time here. So Maureen, any sort of closing feelings that you can impart on Jen?
Jen or Christine or any of
Or
us.
I mean Jen McLeish.
Yeah, Jen, you really need to clear the heaviness around your crown chakra. It's a lot of dense energy. It's really causing a lot of headaches and sleeplessness and anxiety. And it's mostly spirit. It's like, you got to clear that out.
I thank you and I understand, but how do you mean it's mostly spirit?
It's the energy
Yeah.
of other people, of loved ones on the other side, maybe not even your loved ones. Do you have a suicide in your life?
Well, no.
You don't have to be connected to them. But if you know of a suicide,
It's always felt like there was. Well, actually, yeah, there was one. Yeah.
you have a suicide victim following you around. I feel like there's a couple. I do see a male and a female, but the male seems strong. I feel like the male might have hung himself or something. It could be a place you lived in or nearby or something.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
You need to tell him
Talk to them. Yeah.
to go away. Like, so either, tell you what he wants. Otherwise, he's just haunting you, and that's not okay. We, the living, have authority over the deceased. And so you can choose whether to give him airtime or not. Me personally, even as a medium, I kick so many people out of my house because if they don't have an appointment, they're just being rude. I wouldn't walk into their house and go, "Hey, what's up?"
Can you help me with that right now?
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to call him Michael. I don't know if that was his name or whatever. I'm going to ask him to go away from you and never to return. You're not welcome here. You do not have permission to be here. And if you have something to say, then bring Jen, your living person. And so it is.
And so it is.
Wow, and so it is. Wow.
Was there another one?
She's kind of standing outside. She's being respectful, but they're drawn to you for some reason.
This feeling, this is very interesting that you bring this up because it's a feeling for me, but also I live in a place that's very vibey. I live on Cortez Island and there's a lot of spirit vibes here.
That makes sense. A lot of suicide too. So which could speak to the sadness. And so if you ever get the energy of suicide and question your life and that sort of thing, that is not your energy. You need to send it away and make a directive, cancel the assignment on your life because it has no place around you. You have stuff to do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Maureen, I have a question around that, just because I had a cousin who took her own life and then she started to try to get back into my body so that she could live through me. And I didn't know you then. This was, 20 years ago. But I started talking to her, just like where she was at. And after the 40 days, which is when I believe the length of time that spirit hangs around in the biggest vibration, it was during the 40 days. But I just asked her what she was doing. And she told me that she was in a workshop and they were going through a revision process where she had to look at her life and the choices that she's made. And she has to atone for the love, for the pain that's being caused, but also to be able to look at opportunities that she didn't take.
For sure.
So it was quite an intense workshop that she was going through. But this communication that was happening got her off of me and into a place of communication. So I'm just wondering if that's a possibility where you actually communicate and say what is it you want, right?
Absolutely. I, do that a lot. I can send you pictures where spirits have actually jumped into me.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I've said to them, what are you doing? Like, get off me. And, they're never quiet about it because I feel them instantly. I feel the transition come over me. And I always take a picture because that's who I am. And
And you
I
can
see
see
them.
them? Okay, I
I
have to
can see
put your
them.
notes.
Yeah. I will send you a picture that will like make your hair stand on end. Because there's this old woman that likes to come to me and she's got all this gray hair and she's very wild looking. And she jumped in quite a few times. And I think her name is Ruth. Well, that's what I call her. And I have to say to her, listen, don't do that. You don't have permission to do that. But sometimes because I'm so in tune and I can handle it because my soul is always safe, they know that they don't have permission to stay longer than a nanosecond. But a
Wow.
soul takes time to go through the light body process. And as they leave this earth plane, they go into this self-exciting where they're becoming awake and aware of everything from a different perspective. When I walked with my mom through her death process, it was very interesting to me because as a medium, you think you can handle it all and you've seen it all. And I literally held her through the process. And after she was attached to me, I felt her go in. And so probably for about 6 months, I felt like I was dying. I had cancer. I had the same symptoms. One morning I woke up and I turned and it was a waking vision, and mom blew in with this sandstorm and she showed me this vision of, everything that she'd gone through. So she was showing me her awakening and reckoning and, her life recall, and told me that I needed to cancel the assignment on my life through the generational thing. And it was so profound to me because we carry on at the time of death for generations. So we'll pick up where they left off
Yep.
if we're not aware. And so I was like, oh, so I canceled her assignment on my life and I felt a huge shift. It was the most profound experience of my life. And then I stopped walking like her and feeling like her while I'm similar on a physical level. It was just crazy to me. So you can stop them from the process because that's not our journey. They already had their experience in this lifetime.
I've never heard that term, cancel the assignment on your life.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's it's
pretty deep.
Yeah, it sounds really? Yeah.
I have to talk to you more about that, Maureen. I'll
You
make
know where
an
to find me.
appointment. I needed
All
my
right,
own
well-
appointment with Maureen. I really do.
Same.
Me too. Me too.
Okay.
I
All right,
have
well-
to go. I'm so sorry,
We
but
all have to go. We're 10 minutes past time.
Love you guys.
Thank you so much for all of you, for your
Thank you.
generosity, openness, and just your transparency. I really applaud all of you. Thank you, Christine. And
Thanks,
Eddie,
Jen.
and
Thanks, Jen.
and Maureen.
Yeah.
Namaste.
Oh,
Thank you. Have a good day,
Thanks.
ladies.
I
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.